What's up, Aries? This is your weekly tarot card reading from Born Without Boundaries Tarot. It is for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. My name is Michelle, and I am an astrologer and tarot card reader, and I use astrology, tarot cards, and oracle cards to divine insights into the energies for each week so that I can put them in your hands and empower you. There's a new video every single week for Aries, so please remember to hit subscribe and then ring that notification bell and select all notifications so that you know when I upload your favorite content. There's always an extended reading too, which I invite you to join with me for a deeper reading as we delve deeper into the mysteries and particulars of each situation. There's two ways to that. You can either go the traditional way, which is the link down below to the Vimeo reading, or you can join the Unbound membership and get full unlimited access to all of the extended readings forever, ever, for as long as you are a member. What's more, you get all the other perks of all the other memberships on the channel, including 2 members only sessions with me every single week where you can bring your tarot card questions and I will answer them for you. So I hope you do join. Now, Aries, I'm going to start off with the astrology and then we'll move into the cards, okay? The astrology is really intense in your 12th house because Mercury just moved into Pisces, and that means that the Sun, Neptune, Jupiter, Mercury are all in Pisces. That is your 12th house. It's the 12th house. What is the 12th house? The 12th house is the house of the mysterious, the house of the darkness, not negativity, but the undefined. It is the house of dreams, the house where anything and everything is possible. It is also where sort of Dharma comes to sit and figure out how it's going to morph itself into the next adaptation of your life. So there are some past life issues or past life memories, dreams that could be coming up that you think are like, where are these even coming from? But ultimately they are things that you are working through. They just may not be from this lifetime. There's interesting squares between Jupiter and the Sun and Lilith and the Moon in Gemini, which is your 3rd house. It's an interesting square because we have the Moon, which is the traditional ruler of our feelings and emotions, and then Lilith, which is the dark emotions, the dark side of us, the dark side of the Moon. That's Lilith, the dark moon. And with the two of them together, there's very tricky energy, especially in Gemini, deceptive energy that loves to lie just to get attention or just to get its way. And ultimately, this is something that would probably be catalyzed by feeling of lack of freedom, all of a sudden feeling like somebody's trying to restrict you or restrain you or tell you that you can't say something, and then you would figure out how to say it and even lie about it just to be able to like get at them or get ahead of them. Now, this could not only happen through you, which is probably happy, you could be tempted, but it's squaring the Sun and the Sun and I think Neptune, all right, in your 12th house, which means that ultimately you may not even be conscious of why you're doing it. Or you may kind of take on the role of, or the character of, somebody that you think would have authority, even though you really don't have that authority, right? Something like that. It's also a sense of, the chart is really kind of complex right now. There's an interesting aspect between the South Node and the Moon and Lilith in Gemini. So I wouldn't really, let's put it this way, trust your intuition right now, but not necessarily what people say. And also be very wary of what you say since it's happening in your 3rd house. Be very wary of what you're willing to promise, willing to say, willing to write down at this moment, because ultimately you could be deceiving yourself just to make it easy for yourself because of those trines to the north, to the South Node. You know, you want it to be easy, you want it to be comprehensive, you want it to be relaxed, and ultimately this is a shortcut to it, and it will never ever work out so great. So intuitively, and because of these aspects to your 12th house, it may be happening subconsciously. But if it may not be, it may not be. You may be fully aware of it and ultimately wanting to do it just because you want to cut some corners. So look for that, and also not necessarily look for people doing it to you, but look for your willingness to do it to them. Because you may not even think, with all that energy in the 12th house, you may be able to disguise it to yourself in a way that, oh, I'm doing this for a good reason, right? I'm doing this for the right reason. It's all illusion. It's all self-deception and manipulation. You're doing it to take a shortcut. And Saturn is kind of still I spy from that 11th house, from Aquarius. Still really sitting and looking and wanting to see how you're dealing with your north and south nodes, and are you doing the work? And so this could be a week where you are intentionally tempted by the universe to cut corners. And don't do it. Don't do it. Don't cut the corners. Integrity is so important right now. That's all I have to say. And I'm not trying to call everybody out on anything. It's just there's these energies that are going to try to influence you, and ultimately don't fall into the trap, because you're so close to manifesting exactly what it is. It's coming. It's real. It's tangible. It's in the process of birth. You could see its head crowning, but ultimately something could still fuck it up. So don't do it. Right? This is going to come through you. And the integrity has to be like your main focus this week. Seriously. Oh, Ace of Cups, love. So it could very well be love that helps to inspire you. Wow. And I pulled like the tarot cards too. Wow. Let me finish the shuffle. I usually start with oracle cards. For some reason, I just want to go right to tarot for you guys. So we have the Ace of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles. You really love your job. So this could be something, you love it so much and you want to take control of it, and you want it so much you put all yourself into it. You've been working very, very hard. You may have invested a lot into this situation. There could also be love with an earth sign, especially if it's a female. Interesting. See, this is the kind of particulars we get into in the extended. Word. Yeah. Let's get into your reading. Let's put those up there. Let Spirit be your guide. Looking at the higher authority from the higher perspective. Also suggesting that objectivity right now is going to help clear your mind. And then we have something still bothering you, something still holding you down, you're not willing to let something go. So if you look at something objectively, you might be able to understand why you can't let it go. And then we have surrender now. This is Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius is all about looking at things from the bigger picture. It also could be saying that somebody's running off at the mouth. Somebody's just talking shit and saying things, whatever they want to say, like they're saying whatever they want. They're looking like they're in authority, but they're really just like spewing shit. And then we have act as if. Yeah, there's some sort of deception here. Somebody intentionally disguising themselves or being false. And then we have make your dreams real. And of course, this is that spider web. This could be a This could be no, I'm not going to do that. Spider spirit to make your dreams real. Yeah. This is the energy of trying to manipulate things and make yourself look at something or look like something you're not, or make yourself basically really broad stroke underhanded comments. You're stating this with authority in order to bring somebody down, but it's manipulative because with this groundhog spirit, there's a sense of something it's in reverse. So it's twisted. It's angry, or it's trying to get revenge. So there's definitely a sense of sensing that somebody is trying to get revenge and running off at the mouth, talking shit, disguising themselves as somebody that maybe is your friend or maybe is an authority somehow. There is an authority watching. And that's what I wanted to tell you about this Saturn interaction, is there is an authority watching. So it's not like anybody's going to get away with it anytime soon. They're trying to see how you behave. It's almost like, you ever had that discussion with your significant other where you ask them a question you already know the answer to, but you ask them a question because you want to see if they'll lie to you? Ding, 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 you're being led into a trap because somebody already knows that you did something that was insincere, or somebody, or vice versa. You can switch these energies. It could be you, it could be them, but this is about somebody who already has the intel, right? So ultimately, if you are tempted to try to talk yourself out of a situation this week and say some pretty little lies that will get you out of things, they already know the answer. And ultimately, it's better to give the incorrect, like say you're taking a test this week. It's better to give the incorrect answer than to look on somebody else's paper and copy down and get the right answer, because the test will be able to see based on your other patterns of answering that those were not your answers. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's already a connection to the truth here, and it will be easy to catch out anybody who is telling a non-truth, but that will definitely show an aspect of them that will be held against them. You know what like that's the energy. And so I want you to understand that. It's very important for you to understand that this week. Very particular, weavy, like a web, somebody's setting a web, somebody's setting a trap. But in all honesty, it's setting a trap to see whether or not, if you have integrity, you'll get right through this test. If you're honest, you'll get right through this test. But ultimately, if somebody is dishonest, that's what they're going to catch. They're going to catch the dishonesty. Because like I said, you can give the right answers, but if they're not sincere to you, or people knew you didn't know them and you took them from somebody else, it's going to trap you. It's like intentionally setting a trap to see how much integrity you have. Now, I don't know that this could be, if you are, that's why, that's why it came out the way that it did, right? The first cards, you needed to know this has something to do with a love relationship or something that, or a job that you really love, a job that you really want, something that you really either want at work if you are somebody who is legitimately like the boss of something, or you're wanting a role that is the director or the vice president, or maybe you're wanting a leadership role. This is aspirational. And ultimately, there's just a sense of somebody watching you to see if you deserve it right now. And if you talk shit, they'll know. They'll know. Or this has to do with your relationship. This is a sense of somebody already knows the truth. So if you're asked questions, or whoever's asked questions, they're expected to answer honestly. And then we have base chakra. This is primal energy. So and that's the 12th house. Like it's something, it's coming from something in a place that's so deep. Well, not necessarily 12th house, but it's coming from a place that's so deep and so like amorphous, you may not even realize you're doing it. In other words, this may not be a bad person. It may just be somebody who is acting defensively. And they're fucking saying this or saying these things or making these promises because they're scared and they feel backed into a corner. And that is exactly ding, 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 the position that Saturn and the nodes are putting us in right now. They are backing you into a fucking corner to test if you have developed the strengths that you have supposed to have developed in order to get the things you're trying to manifest, because they don't want to put treasure in the hands of an asshole. The problem is they leave no room for humanity. They leave no room for just being a human. It's almost like only the superhumans, only the perfect people get it. Like if you ain't Jesus, you ain't worthy. The fuck? I mean, like, that could be very frustrating right now. But I think the way to really tap into the way to handle this situation this week, Aries, is to legitimately understand yourself on that primal level and accept aspects of yourself on that primal level. And that might be the real test if you really dig deep. The real test may be, can I forgive myself? Can I forgive myself for behavior that I'm actually ashamed of? Can I can I not do it, or maybe I've already done it. But ultimately, if I've already done it, do I have the integrity to say, this is what I've done? And that could be the real test. I mean, in all sincerity, that probably is the real test. Not whether or not you would do it, but will you own up to it when given the chance? And it's so primal with the base chakra there. Like, this is such a primal urge that you may not be able to control it. Because if you feel like you're backed into a corner, an animal's just going to fucking rip the shit out of you. Not because they're evil, but because now they feel scared. And now their inner beast comes out. And it's never something you should try to control. It's something that you should try to accept as what it is. It's there to protect you. It's always there to protect you. And if you can understand that about yourself and your behavior, then maybe you could find the heart to forgive somebody for behaving on that same primal plane, right? So, because this is really a time of expansion where we're trying to open up our empathy and really understand why people would behave the way that they behave, forgive ourselves, love our shadow side. And so this is all a lesson in, happy birthday, Doug Denny, can I forgive myself for those aspects of myself that I hate the most, or those actions that I took that I'm most ashamed of? And am I going to talk around them or lie about them? Or am I going to just own them, right? This is, if I had to sum up one fucking word for this week, Aries, it's integrity. 100%. Foundation and achievements. So we have this, so you have a lot to protect. And I think that this is like the point for you, is that you do have a lot to protect. You don't want something that you really love being put at risk. You don't want your family put at risk. You don't want your income being put at risk. This is a sense of somebody's trying to be defensive to protect something that they love a great deal. And ultimately we can act out and we can be bestial. Now, can you forgive yourself and love the beast, right? And not manipulate, and not like intentionally become the beast, but can you accept it, right? And can you accept it about somebody else? Because this is definitely something that it may be all you seeing this happen in somebody else. And you're sitting here like, how the fuck do I even deal with this situation? I see what you're doing. What do I do? What do I do? And ultimately, I guess the answer to that question is, Jesus, let's go into more cards. I'm not really, but let's get a moon card. That might help us a little bit. Damn. This is not simple energy. It's very complex. Adjustments are required. Like you fucking telling me, like thanks for that, universe. What does this card really mean? This is a sense, it's saying that your emotions may be changing. Your feelings may be changing because you see this part of somebody. Or somebody's feelings may be changing because they're seeing a side of somebody that they didn't really see. And it may be something that you're having a hard time accepting. You're having a hard time accepting because it's like, wait, what? But I rely on them, or I rely on this situation. It makes me happy. I don't want to see, but you've got to see. It's like, in other words, like that's the thing. You're not going to want to acknowledge these primal aspects of yourself. You're not going to want to acknowledge these primal aspects of somebody else, but it's there, isn't it? And I think that this is the ultimate test. And let me say this to you, because too often we say things like, well, if you love somebody, then... Okay, it's true. Love is unconditional. Relationships are not. Okay? You can love somebody with your whole heart and not allow them to fuck up your life with their mistakes or bad behavior. You can love somebody with your whole heart and still hold them accountable for who they are and set boundaries so that their mistakes don't end up leaking toxins into your space. It's not about not loving somebody or hating yourself for having to set boundaries, right? It's not about that. You'll actually hate yourself more for not setting these boundaries. You'll hate yourself more for allowing yourself to lie for somebody or to lie for yourself. That will ultimately bring you more shame. That's how Lilith behaves. That's what she likes. She feeds off your shame and your sadness and your fear and your isolation. So she's going to make it enticing and easy. It's going to be easier to just lie or to just manipulate, right? And then ultimately she's going to just suck you like the vampire she is because you feel so ashamed about it, and it creates this really toxic loop, right? So ultimately there's just that sense of owning and ownership of, I see this, I acknowledge it. If it's another person, I love you anyway, but ultimately I have a boundary here and I am not going to compromise my standards. And it's your standards and your integrity that are under assault this week, and 100% they are where you have to hold the line. Let's go to tarot.